Hi everybody, Miss Tinks here. For those of you guys who don't know me and this is your first time watching one of my videos, I come into schools and work with children and young people, and I do all things related to personal development, so how to look after your development and how to improve on yourself. I look at mental health and well-being. I look at neuroscience, how your brain works and how it kind of sends messages around your body, and how what we call neuro-linguistic programming, that taught how you can talk to your brain and make sure the messages are always positive messages, and just generally how to make sure you are mentally really well. Now, this message today I'm sending out because on the 10th of October, it is World Mental Health Day. And I've put together a few little pictures that I've drawn just to share with you guys on what mental health actually is, because it's a word that we use a lot. Well, words that we use a lot, but some people don't really understand what it means, or are not sure how to talk about it and what to do with that. And so I wanted to make sure that you guys have more of an idea of how it works, what it looks like, and how, most importantly, to try and look after your own mental health and make sure that you're feeling mentally well. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some pictures that I've drawn all about how to make sure that you are mentally well. So it's the 10th of October. It will be World Mental Health Day. Now, you guys might not be watching this on the 10th of October because some people might watch it before, some people might watch it after. Do you know what? This video is always going to be here. So if you feel like you need to come back to it at a later time and watch it again, even if it's not around World Mental Health Day, it will still be here for you. That's an important thing to make sure you remember, okay? The theme for World Mental Health Day this year, so every year they have a theme and they have a little slogan that they want everybody to try and follow. This year's is mental health for all. And I spent a little bit of time thinking, well, what does that say to me? Now, my role, as I say, is going into schools and working with children and young people. I still do a lot of research for my own personal development. And I read lots of books that are written for adults and grown-ups. And I turn those messages and those teachings and everything that I've learned into trainings for children, so that children can understand and learn more about themselves too. So I thought, well, do you know what? Mental health for all means that everybody should be able to know a bit about it and understand it. And I thought, well, actually, that's kind of what I'm going to make sure I do today then. So with this video, I'm talking directly to kids and young people, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it at your level, rather than using lots of adult language, lots of grown-up talk, and things that you might not understand. So, first of all, what is mental health? Mental health can be very, very linked to physical health. The thing with physical health is you can see physical health. So by physical health, I mean how your body works, okay? If somebody doesn't have very good physical health, maybe their muscles don't quite work properly, maybe they have trouble with their joints, maybe they're overweight, and then that starts to affect their physical health. If you have issues with your physical health, you can usually see that in their appearance, by the way they move, if they have to use a wheelchair or walking sticks or anything like that, if they don't move very well at all or can't move very well at all. Physical health is really easy to see and spot. The thing with mental health is it's not always easy to see and spot. So with mental health, what you see is the way somebody behaves, and you sometimes see the way people act and feel. So with mental health, that's fine. But with physical health, it's much easier to see. With mental health, it's not. Because if somebody isn't showing how they're feeling, and if somebody isn't really showing what's really going on inside their bodies, which is easier to do with mental health, it's easier to hide it and pretend it's not happening, we wouldn't know. You could walk past somebody in the supermarket that really struggles with their mental health and you wouldn't be able to tell. If you walk past somebody in the supermarket who had physical health issues, you would, because like I say, they might be using a wheelchair or a walking stick or crutches or something like that you could say, oh yeah, they do struggle a little bit physically. You can see that. You wouldn't notice that necessarily mentally. And that's why it's a little bit trickier for people to see and understand, because it's harder to notice in people. And then people sometimes try not to notice it or don't notice it in themselves as well. And that's why it's usually a little bit more difficult to see and understand what could be happening and what could be going on for somebody. The thing is with your physical health, if you practice good physical health, you will see an improvement and you will see an achievement. So like here, I put swimming as a little example. If you got in the swimming pool on day one and you couldn't swim, because obviously it's the first time you've ever been swimming in your life, you would still go back the next time and try again, wouldn't you? You would keep practicing. And as you keep practicing learning how to swim or whatever other physical thing it is, you'll get better at it and you'll keep improving. And then you'll start to achieve things. And because you're achieving things like maybe winning competitions or winning races or achieving your swimming badges, you go, oh yeah, I'm really good at this. And it makes you want to keep practicing. Mental health should work in just the same way. So you've got to practice good habits and good things to keep your mental health good. You will keep seeing an improvement. And then, I mean, the achievements would be a little bit more tricky to see, but you would be able to tell how much better you're coping with things, how much better you're finding challenges, how much better you're achieving, maybe achieving things like badges and rewards and certificates for other things, because your mental health is having an impact on that. So your mental health should be treated just like your physical health, okay? If you had a sore knee, you would go to the doctors, wouldn't you? So if you had if you were struggling with a feeling of maybe feeling a little bit anxious, you should go to the doctors about that. You should go and speak to somebody who is trained to understand what could be going on and how to help. Lots of people go to the doctors for physical health issues, but not for mental health issues. And they think, oh, it's all right, I'll be okay. And sometimes you do get better on your own, and other times you need somebody who's really good at spotting these things to go, I know what will help. So physical health should be treated just like mental health. They should work in a balance together. But most of the time, people think that their mental health isn't as important. And it really, really is, because your mental health works with everything that you do. It affects everything, either in a good way or maybe a not so good way. So mental health should always be treated just like physical health. That's one thing to note, okay? Now, your mental health gives you the ability to face challenging things. So if you have good mental health and something challenging comes along, you will be better equipped to deal with it. So that means you'll find it a little bit easier to get through whatever challenge it is that's going on. It could be a challenge at school, it could be a challenge at home, it could be a challenge with your friends, it could be a challenge in sport or your hobby, or something that you've just been finding tricky for a long time and you think, right, I need to sort this out. Challenges are completely normal and they do help us to grow, but your mental health will help you get past those challenges and work through them. And that's why mental health is very, very important to have good mental health, okay? Because the thing is with challenges is everybody gets challenges differently. Like I say, it could be a challenge at home, it could be a challenge at school, it could be any different challenge from all the different parts of your life. And you'll get a challenge that you'll go through and might find more tricky than somebody else. Somebody else might not have even had that challenge. They might have had a different sort of challenge to deal with and to overcome. So everybody gets different challenges and everybody feels differently and acts differently, depending on their mental health, but also because of the type of person that they are, depending on their families and their friends and what they think and what they say. And so everybody overcomes them differently. But the thing to know about challenges is that you will not be the only person that's gone through that challenge in the whole world. So if you feel like you're going through something challenging and you're not quite sure where to start or how to get through it, you talk to somebody, because you'll probably find that they've either done that exact same thing or they've done something similar and they can share some advice with you. And also, as I was saying before, treat it just like your physical health. So if you think, right, I'm really struggling with this and it's not getting any easier and nobody's been able to help me with it and that I've talked to so far, you can try going to the doctor and see what the doctor says as well, because at the end of the day, they are trained professionals. This is what they do for their job. they look at ways to help you and make you feel better. So that's an important thing to think about, that one. Everybody does challenges differently. They get them, they go through them, and they get past them. Everybody does that in different ways. Even if it's the same challenge, they might be able to tell you something that you'd not thought of because they think a little bit differently to you and they felt a little bit differently about it. So with your challenges, always talk to somebody about them, but understand that they are completely normal and that everybody goes through these things and that everybody overcomes them eventually as well. Okay. Another word that you will hear a lot with mental health is this word, stigma. Okay. Stigma is an important one to kind of understand. So stigma is a word where it goes with mental health because people usually feel quite uncomfortable about talking about their mental health and they're not sure. So if you feel like you want to talk about what a brilliant day you've had and how good your mental health is, or it's a day where you feel like you're struggling a little bit more, you felt really frustrated, you've been a little bit anxious, sometimes people don't talk about it. They have this stigma that nobody's going to want to listen, so they keep it in. Okay, they feel a little bit uncomfortable talking to somebody. They go, oh no, they don't want to hear about the bad day that I've had. Or they'll go, do you know what, I've had a really good day, but they've not had such a great day, so I'm not going to tell them about my good day because I don't want to make them feel bad. Okay, so it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. They might also be unsure of who to talk to for the best, and so they don't talk to anybody or say anything and they just keep it in. Okay, so there's a stigma which means that people think that they're not exactly sure who to talk to or what to say, and they maybe don't know how to say what they're feeling. Okay, and then you've got some people who go zip and don't say anything because they just feel like they can't tell anybody about it. And that's normally for one of the other reasons, because they feel like somebody isn't going to want to listen and they're not going to maybe take it seriously. Maybe that they're going to go, oh, you'll be fine. And then they'll just brush over it like it's not a big deal, when it could be a big deal to you and you really want to get somebody to help you sort it out. And then, like I say, stigma is this word that you're going to hear a lot, particularly as you get older. But it doesn't mean that if somebody has a stigma about mental health and feels one of these things, really what they should do is go for it anyway and really still just try and talk to somebody, because mental health needs to be talked about a little bit more to beat this stigma. People feel like they shouldn't talk about when they're feeling down. But like I was saying before, if you had a really swollen knee and a big cut on it and it was really hurting, you would go to the doctors or you would go to the hospital to get it looked at. So if you've got a feeling that's been bugging you inside and you feel like you need to tell somebody about it, or maybe even go and see the doctor about it, ignore the fact that some people would say, no, it's okay, get on with it. Ignore the stigma and go, do you know what? This is important to me and I'm going to get it sorted. And you go and do what you feel like you've got to do. Talk to who you've got to talk to. Try different methods, which I'm going to talk to you about next, of how to make sure you've got good mental health. But really, all in all, just make sure that you don't feel like you can't talk about it, that you've got this stigma of, oh, nobody's going to want to listen, and ignore that and go for it anyway, because you will feel better for talking about it. Like I say, if you broke your leg, you go to the doctor. So why wouldn't you do the same for your mental health? Okay. Now, here is some ideas, and I'm going to put this. So I have a YouTube channel, I have a website, I have lots of different things. I'll tell you all about those next. But I want you guys to have a look at how to be mentally well. Okay. So these are all different steps that I would make sure that you take maybe every day, maybe not do all of them every day, but try and do a few of them every day to make sure that you are doing everything that you can to be mentally well. And if you're doing all of these things and it's still not working, that's the sort of time when you will go to the doctor and go, I've been trying to do this, I've been trying to do that, I've had a go at that, but do you know what? I still feel like I just need a little bit more to help me with my mental health. And they can say to you, yeah, do you know what? We'll try. And they'll think of things you've not even thought of, and they should be able to sort it. Okay. I'll start with talk first of all. So being mentally well means talking about it. If you have a worry or an anxiety or a feeling that you're not sure about, talk to somebody. And then you're sharing, which is the next one, you're sharing that I don't want to use the word problem, but it kind of is a little bit like a problem. You're sharing that with somebody and you can go, yeah, do you know what? I feel a little bit down and it just feels better for sharing it. So talk and share about everything that you've got going on, good things as well as not so good things, and you will feel better. Also, I'm going to put the next two together because you've got being active and eating well. These two go really well together, okay? So being active in lots of different ways and making sure you're feeding your body the right things, they help you be mentally well as well. When you're active, your brain sends chemicals around your body that make you feel good. And when you eat well, the types of foods that you eat, if you're eating healthily, they send good things around your body too. So they're important to help you be mentally well. Connect with people. So you'll also find on my YouTube channel, the 5 ways to well-being. And I do a little assembly on each of them, and connect is one of them. And there's some really good ways to talk about connecting in there. So connect with new people, connect in new and exciting ways. I talk about random acts of kindness, 5-minute friend. There's lots of different things in that assembly video, but be thinking about if there's any that you know as well of different ways you can connect with people. And if you're not sure how to connect with people, ask them if they want to get to know you and just generally chat a little bit more, or ask people about how you could get in touch with a group of people who like a certain game that you like, or a certain, if you ask people about their likes and dislikes, you might connect with them in that way. So connect and ask kind of go together as well. And then you've got break. Now, break is a really important one. Break is a little bit like take notice in the 5 ways to well-being. It's about coming away from everything that you've got going on and taking a break and just being either relaxing or something that you enjoy doing, like maybe colouring, maybe just taking some time for yourself and reading a book, just relaxing and winding down and coming away from everything that's a little bit hectic and a little bit crazy and going, oh, I'm just going to have a minute. Okay. In my Take Notice webinar, in my Take Notice assembly, I also talk about something called permission to pause. And having permission to pause is really important, because that is your little break. You can just think, right, I need permission to pause. I just need 5 minutes, because this is all a little bit overwhelming, which means it starts to feel like it's getting, and it's making you feel a little bit nervous and a bit worried, and going, I'm having 5 minutes and then I'm going to come back to it and I'll feel a little bit better after I've had that little break. Now, thrive, the next one, thrive is a good one. I like this one very much. Thrive means when you're doing really well, or something is doing really well. So if you thrive at something, which everybody should be thriving at something, you just might have to maybe think a bit harder about what it could be. You thrive at something that you are really good at, something that you enjoy doing, something that makes you feel good. And it's really important that you make sure that you thrive at something. Okay, think carefully, because there will be something you already thrive at, but maybe you want to work on something so that you start to feel better about it and get better at it. Okay, for me, I thrive at drawing. It doesn't mean I'm very good at it. It just means that it makes me feel really good. And even though I'm still find it a bit tricky some days and it gets me a bit frustrated, I really feel good after I've done some drawing, and that's what I thrive on. It makes me feel brilliant. And you need to find something to do that with as well. The next one we've got is accept. This is a little bit of a tricky one, this one. You've got to accept that there are things that you can't control, so you've just kind of got to get on with it. There are things that sometimes you can't fix and you can't make better. So if you fall out with one of your friends and you try and say sorry and you try and make the situation right, and they're like, no, I'm not speaking to you. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go and play with somebody else. You kind of just have to accept that and go, right, okay, that's fine. I've apologized and I've said that it's all sorted, and you do what you've got to do. I accept that. And then hopefully they will come back once they've accepted what's gone on, and then you can move forward and be friends again together. So accepting is a tricky one sometimes, but it's an important one, because otherwise, if you didn't accept that that person was just maybe still feeling a little bit cross and a little bit upset and wanted some space, you'll get cross and you'll start to go, well, why won't they be my friend? And that's not fair. I've apologized. And accepting it you just kind of go, right, yeah, okay, that's fine. You go and be on your own for a little while. We're going to be over here playing this game, and then you come back when you're ready. Okay, it's a really, really good strategy to have, because otherwise you'll keep all that anger inside, and it gets really frustrating when that happens. And then you've got the last one is care. Now, care comes in two ways. You've got self-care, which is looking after yourself, of course, and then you've got caring for others, and both of them will help you be mentally well. So care could be when you get home from school, you have a nice hot bath and you just relax, you just chill. That's care, because you're caring for yourself. Care could also be when you get home, you look at one of your grown-ups and go, do you know what, I can tell they've had a really stressful day, and you go and run them a bath, and you go and get in the bath for half an hour and just relax. So care works in two ways. It works by looking after yourself and looking after other people, and you've got to do both. You can't pick one or the other. You've got to care for yourself and other people too. Both of them have to happen. So the main thing that I want you to take from this today, guys, is this bit, this little spider diagram here. And if you wanted to download this picture, I'll put it onto an A4 sheet. And from each of those little notes, I want you to draw some more arrows and see if you can come up with some more examples that are relevant to you. So on talk and share, think about who you like to talk to and who you like to share things with. On be active, think about things that you like to do to be active. Eat well, think about your favourite foods and if they're healthy for you. Connect, think about people that you would connect with. Ask, think about who you would ask if you weren't sure about something or if you wanted to get to know somebody better. On break, think about things you can do when you want to take a break. For thrive, think about things that you're good at. For accept's a little bit of a trickier one to do, but maybe think about something that there's maybe getting you down a little bit at the moment, and see if you can accept it and go, right, that I can't change that anymore. I can't fix it. It is what it is, and I accept that, and maybe write that down. And then for care, you need self-care on there, and what self-care things you like to do. Maybe it's paint your nails, maybe it's play your favourite game, have your favourite snack, have a bath, go for a walk, have a nap, any of that sort of thing. And also care for other people. And you could put in that one who you want to care for and maybe how you're going to do it. So there's lots of different things for you to think about there, but they're the main ways of making sure that you stay mentally well. Okay, so that's all from me. Have a fabulous week before or week after, depending on when you're watching this video. Mental Health Day. It's on World Mental Health Day itself is the 10th of October, like I say, but you can watch this video anytime before, anytime after, and I'm going to leave it up because it might be that actually you think, do you know what, I need to go back and have another look at those ways because I'm struggling a little bit with my mental health and I want to know about how I can fix that and what other things I can do. If you have a look here, these are the ways, the places that you can find me on social media wise. And also what I forgot to put on here actually is my website, which is www.misstinks.co.uk. And on there are lots and lots of free resources you can download, journals, affirmations, which are like really good things to say to yourself, challenges, 30-day challenges, art challenges, all kinds of different things on there. And use those to help your mental health as well. The reason I'm popping all this on here is if you want to reach out and talk to me, do it. That is fine. If you want me to be one of those people that you connect with, go for it. But you'll need a grown-up because obviously it's social media. So make sure that you've got a grown-up permission and make sure you get a grown-up to help you go through all of this process. And then maybe your grown-ups can reach out and chat with me as well, which would be good. Or if you download any of my resources and you're giving them a go and you want to send me a picture of what you've been up to, get your grown-up to reach me on one of these things. And then we can stay in touch and I can see what you guys have been up to. So have a fabulous World Mental Health Day. Have good mental health anyway. Don't ever feel like you can't talk to somebody about your mental health because you can. And if you feel like nobody else wants to listen, you can tell me. That's what I'm here for. Okay? Have a really good rest of the day. And believing is just the beginning. Believe that you can and you've got this. Have a fabulous day. Take care. Stay safe. And I will see you all soon.